title, of course, it's Harness the Power of Revit and Twinmotion for Seamless Integration. First of all, I want to ask, how's everyone's doing? I hope everyone's doing great. We're very thankful that you're here with us today for this webinar. Okay. So moving on for our event agenda, we have, of course, introduction for Accenta, and then we have, of course, the discussion for Revit and Twinmotion, and then, of course, Q&A. Now, for the event speaker, I'm glad to welcome Ms. Tolene. So, Ms. Tolene is, of course, a powerhouse of architectural visualization for both Revit and Twinmotion. And of course, she has a dynamic blend of technical expertise and creative vision when it comes to projects, especially when it comes to architecture concepts into virtual masterpieces. Housekeeping reminders. So we have this discussion for Revit and Twinmotion workflows and processes, which eventually can help you guys when it comes to design and architectural works. And of course, we also have 15 minutes Q&A section at the end as well. So let's discuss our vision for this is, of course, to create a world where seamless digital connectivity can drive unprecedented growth and transformation, where data flows freely and devices communicate intelligently. And something to know about Accenta. So we are in partnership, of course, not only with Autodesk, but we are also in partnership with Smartsheet and Brandfolder as well. And our aim for this is to provide you guys solutions specific exactly for your needs to configure platforms, complexity, creating a seamless approach to your business processes and workflows from start to finish. And of course, we are Dubai-based. We are a very diverse team. We have 50%, of course, women and, of course, men, as you can see. And we speak the language of English, Arabic, and as well as Spanish. And some awards here. Of course, these are the awards we have won recently, which is the Partner of the Year Award for Autodesk. And at the same time, we also won the ME Digital Construction Award, Small Medium Enterprise of the Year Award. And some of the clients that we humbly mentioned here, we are proud of having services with them. So here are the clients we have so far. And going to the event agenda, again, I would like to announce Ms. Tolene. Please join us in this event for
Thank you,
for Revit and yeah.
Thank you, Isabel, for this introduction. Hello,
Most
everyone,
welcome.
and welcome to this webinar. It's my pleasure to have you all here, and I'm excited to walk you through the harnessing the power of Revit and Twinmotion for seamless integration. So for today's topics, we're going to be talking about the partnership between Autodesk and Epic Games. And then we're going to give a quick introduction to Revit and Twinmotion, then why use Twinmotion, and a technical introduction. Then we're going to have a Q&A session, so make sure you write your questions down so we could answer all of your questions by the end. And lastly, we're going to have a quick quiz. Don't worry, it's not graded, but it's only to see if we understood everything. Next, please. So today we're excited to present a collaboration between Twinmotion and Autodesk and explore numerous advantages it brings to architecture, visualization, and design workflows. So let's dive in. Next. So as we all know, Autodesk is the company that creates softwares for architects, engineers, and so on. They have products such as Revit, AutoCAD, and many more than that. And if you all know Epic Games is responsible or is the company that actually created Fortnite, Rocket League, and many more. And it's the company that created the software called Twinmotion. So the integration of Twinmotion with Revit facilitates efficient data exchange between the two platforms. Users can easily import their Revit models into Twinmotion, allowing for real-time exploration and visualization. Changes in Revit made in Revit are automatically synchronized with Twinmotion, streamlining design updates and eliminating the need for manual data transfers. And just a thumbs up that Twinmotion comes with Revit license or AAC collection license for free. Next. So let me give you a quick introduction about Revit. As we all know, Revit is a leading BIM platform. It facilitates efficient coordination, reduces errors, and enhances the overall project lifecycle by integrating various design disciplines and project phases. So it's a building information modeling software, and it helps and enables architects, engineers to work collaboratively in a 3D environment, creating intelligent models. So on the right, we can see a render that was taken from the Revit software. We can see here that the render communicates clearly what materials have been used. It communicates the whole model in a clear vision. However, if we go next, please. However, in Twinmotion, if we look at the right, we can see that the picture is more compelling and it has more details, a more realistic matter. So what is Twinmotion? With Twinmotion, you can produce stunning, high-quality renders, visualize animations, and experience your designs in real-time virtual reality environments. Its advanced rendering capabilities bring your architectural vision into life. So it's a real-time visualization software. Let's wrap it all up. The purpose of Revit is to create basic renders, plans, and models, and Twinmotion is only for the visualization part. Next. So why use Twinmotion? You can go from CAD or BIM to photoreal in minutes. With Twinmotion, you can clearly communicate your ideas, respond to feedback on the fly, and enable every stakeholder to experience your design's full potential before a single brick is laid. Next. After that being said, let's put it into more simple words. Basically, why use Twinmotion? You can aggregate, iterate, communicate, and then you can bring your scene to life, put it all in context so you can share your vision. Next. So how can we aggregate, iterate, communicate? We can aggregate data because Twinmotion seamlessly integrates Revit's architectural and structural data, enabling comprehensive visualization. We can iterate seamlessly because real-time changes in Revit instantly appear in Twinmotion, supporting efficient design iterations. And it's not a two-way change process. Whatever you change in Revit is automatically changed in Twinmotion, but the opposite is not correct. And lastly, effective communication. You can communicate effectively through instant visualization because it enhances collaboration and communicates design intent effectively. Next. Now, how can we bring our scenes to life? You can bring your scenes to life through your realistic environments because Twinmotion's advanced rendering capabilities transform your Revit models into real-life scenes with accurate lighting, material, and environmental effects. You could also add animated elements such as animated people, vehicles, nature to create dynamic scenes that illustrates your design in action. And lastly, immersive walkthroughs. You can navigate your design as if you were physically present, providing a tangible sense of space and functionality. Next. Now, after that, we brought our scene to life. We can put it all in context. How can we do that? We can do that through putting our model in the environmental context. You can position your Revit model in real-world setting, highlighting design interaction with the surroundings, topography, and climate as well. You can also test various weather and times to evaluate performance. And lastly, site integration. You can illustrate building integration in its context for stakeholders to grasp its surroundings' impact. Next. After doing all of that, we are ready to share our vision through compelling presentations, using our storytelling tools, and making an interactive experience. So basically, you can use Twinmotion for engaging presentations and animations to captivate clients and stakeholders, guide viewers through design features and innovations, and you can enable real-time interaction for deeper understanding and valuable feedback. Next. Now, just a quick overview. This is a more summarized key features So basically we can aggregate data, iterate seamlessly, effective communication, realistic environments, animated elements, immersive walkthroughs, environmental context, weather and time, site integration, compelling presentations, storytelling tools, and interactive experience. Next. And this is not everything. There are way more options in Twinmotion. Next. So basically, Twinmotion offers one-click synchronization with various softwares, and you have the ability to import entire scenes from various softwares as well in new datasmith format. You could also bring in data from virtually all 3D content creation programs with support for importing many extensions such as SKP, 3Ds, and so on. You can import point cloud data. You can have different outputs such as panoramas, standard, or 360 VR videos, which is really important for our times today. And lastly, different platforms and software inputs. Next. Now, what is the relationship between the AEC collection and Twinmotion? So there's a direct link between Revit and Twinmotion. And as we all know, there's a direct link between Format Pro and Twinmotion. Next. But that's not the only software that has a direct link or has a link with Twinmotion. You can link your InfraWorks and your 3D Max and Navisworks by importing them or extracting them as an FBX extension, and that's how you can link it to Twinmotion. Next. How about AutoCAD, Civil 3D, and other softwares? You can save them as DWG and various other extensions, and then you can import them into Navisworks. Navisworks can be saved as an FBX as well and imported into Twinmotion. Next. Lastly is Recap Pro. Recap Pro can be saved as LAS, TXT, and many more extensions that can be imported to Twinmotion as well. Next. So let's take everything in. Don't be overwhelmed with the information. We will show you through the technical demo how you can easily achieve a realistic, stunning model. So I created this model myself from scratch, so we can work together to understand how can we link our Revit model to Twinmotion, how can we make this model more realistic, how can we add more details, and so on. So for the first video, what we're going to do now is that basically we're going to learn how to link our Revit model to Twinmotion and what is AutoSync. So can you start the video? Here I have one of the views. I'm just going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to rename it for personal preferences as TN. Afterwards, I'm going to go to View. From View, there's a plugin called Twinmotion. That's when you directly install Twinmotion to your computer, and then it's going to take you automatically to Twinmotion. So we have a pop-up if you want to keep the hierarchy, collapse material, or collapse everything. And then just like that, as simple as that, you have your model in Twinmotion. So I'm pretty sure you're now saying that it's not realistic yet. You can see here the surroundings, the interiors, the exteriors, everything. We still don't feel that it's realistic enough. That's fine. So the more details we put, the more elements we put, the more realistic it will look. So now that's how it looks when we firstly import it into Twinmotion. We can change it together so it could look more realistic. Next, please. Great. Now, what is the difference between Revit and Twinmotion, such as the trees? As I told you before, there's this button called AutoSync. So whenever you change anything in Revit, it's automatically added to Twinmotion. And whatever you change in Twinmotion is not changed in Revit. It's not a two-way change process. So what we're going to do now is that we're going to add a tree in Revit, and let's see how does it look in Twinmotion, and how can we change that to put a tree from Twinmotion itself to give it a more realistic matter. Now, here we're going to navigate between the two windows. The window of Revit is on the left and the window of Twinmotion is on the right. Can you start the video, please? So I'm just going to go to Revit, add a component, which is the tree, and add it right there. After that, I'm going to go to Twinmotion, and let's see the magic happen. So it's going to be automatically added, and we can see how harsh and unrealistic the tree looks. What we're going to do, just right-click, and then we're going to replace it. Choose from any tree you'd like and just drop it in the box, and you can start the replacement. And just like that, you have yourself a more realistic tree. Next, please. Now, after seeing how can we import our Revit model into Twinmotion, let's see how can we make it more realistic. So for now, the exterior is imported directly from Revit. It's stone. Now, I'm going to zoom in and zoom out just to show you the differences between the materials in Revit and in Twinmotion, and how does it differ from the extrusion, the roughness, and so on. So now we're going to learn how can we customize the materials, the colors, and what is the material picker. Start, please. So I'm zooming in. You can see now that there is no extrusion, there's no roughness. You can see that it's a flat picture. We can't see more than that. Let's change it. So on the left, we have our library. I'm just going to go to materials. You have glass, metal, wood, brick. You can choose from whatever you want. I'm going to stick with stone. Now, Twinmotion has more than one library. You can choose from these on the left, and you can see all the swatches here. On the right, you can change the scale, the roughness. I'm just going to scope a bit more and choose what I like better. I'm going to stick with this one, and then we're going to zoom in. You can see that the material has its shadows, its own shadows, the roughness, and you can see all of the extrusions as realistic as it is. You can change also the metallic feature of it. You can make it more reflective. It's fully customizable to your own needs and desires. So what is a material picker? A material picker is basically if you imported any object and you wanted the same material, just press from the top and press on the material that you'd like to, let's say, acquire. Now we have our flooring, and I want to change my library to make it as the same width as the flooring. So I just go to my library, my shelves, and just throw the material on it. And that's how we change the materials. As simple as that. So as I was telling you earlier, Twinmotion has more than one library, more than one extension. I'm going to show you that in a bit. So let's move to the next video. Now, on the left, you can see the library. We have also Megascan and Sketchfab. What are these? These are other libraries that Twinmotion acquired earlier. There are more options for you. If you'd like, you can just use the library that Twinmotion has, or you can use from Megascan and Sketchfab. So what we're going to do here is that we're going to learn about object dropping, vegetation, how you can change the age, scatter, people, plus path. What are these? Let's learn more. So now let's start the video. I have my camera positioned in the street, and now I'm going to add a tree from library, vegetation, trees. You can see all the swatches here. You can see how they're illustrating the age difference, the size. You can choose from whatever tree you'd like and just throw it wherever you want. So I'm just going to change the camera a little bit so we can see how we can change it. We have our tree right here. You can move it from the icon that is there. And I'm changing the age. I'm making it younger, older. And of course, the size differs with the age. And something really cool is that you can change the season as well. If you'd like, you can keep it automatic. So when you change the whole season, it changes with it. And you can choose from the options. So it's autumn, winter, of course, the leaves are lost in winter, or you can simply change the tint of the leaves. So here, I'm just going to pick a color, a more orangey color, let's say. And just like that, we have our tree ready, but I'm just going to get it back to its original color. As simple as that, you had your tree, it's in the right place, and then let's add some other objects. So now I'm going to add a bench to make this street more realistic. From objects, city, benches, and you have your bench ready. I'm just going to choose from one of these. I'm going to see the options and just throw it in. And you can change it, change the position from the icon there. I'm going to add a little bit more elements so it looks more realistic. Now, as you can see, the library is separated in a matter that you can easily navigate between the features and so on. So now I'm going to add my person. So you can add an animated person or a posing person. I'm just going to choose this lady right here. And something really cool as well is that you can change her clothing, you can change her pose, sitting, dancing, walking, and there's also more than one sitting position as well. So just like that, we have our animated person, our bench, and many other elements. So what we're going to do now is that I'm going to add some pedestrians and vehicles as well. It's really simple. From populate, you just go to path, character, and then just press on the starting point and on the end point. And just like that, you have your pedestrians. Now, you can choose whether you want them dressed as if they're in an office or they're traveling or on the beach, however you want. You can change the width of the path, the density, if you want more or less people. And as I told you, the clothing. It's really interactive and fun to work with as well. I'm just going to leave it as the street. Now let's add our vehicles. Also, again, from populate, vehicles, add the starting point, the end point, and you're good to go. So it's really simple to add all of these paths and all of these vehicles and so on. Here we can change the lane count if you want it to be more than one, or if you want it to be a two-way direction, you can do that, of course. Now you can change the lane count, but it's way too much for my street right here. So I'm just going to keep it one, and I'm going to turn off the two-way direction because I want to customize it the way that I want. And of course, you can change the density, the speed. It's a residential area, so we're just going to stick with slower cars. And I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side. And you can do this or just simply press on a two-way direction. So as simple as that, you can change the density, the speed as well. You have your street ready for your model. And that's it. So I'm just going to change the perspective a little bit so you can see it from all perspectives. We can move around. You can see how it looks from the top, from the sides. That's a very, very, very cool feature, actually. So after that, we're done with that. We learned about the libraries, the extensions, how can we drop an object, the vegetation, the paths. Let's move on. Next, please. Now we're going to talk about how you can touch up your render. And we all know that lighting brings your scene to life. And one of the most important features in Twinmotion is the lighting. So you can customize it as much as you want and so on. So here I chose that let's build a bedroom together. Now it will be an empty room, and we're going to put all of the, let's say, elements inside to make it look as realistic, as homey, as relatable as possible. So now we're going to create this bedroom and add the lighting to it and see how does the lighting make your room differ and more lively. So let's start the video. I'm just going to enter the room. Now it's an empty room. We can see a window over there. I'm just looking around. And I'm going to add my bed first. So first we go to library, objects, home, bedroom, and choose a bed from these. Or you can simply type in a bed and you'll get more options from the other libraries as well. I'm just going to stick with this one. And if you don't like the blanket or any element from the object that you have, it's fine. You can change that. So I'm going to change it from materials. I'm going to go down to fabrics and just look around. You can see the swatches. It makes your life easier. So let's try putting a blank blanket and just changing the color of it. You can make it darker, lighter. And there it is. Or you can simply just add a pre-made material. And you could also change other elements from the object itself. So here I'm just changing the pillow colors, all of the pillows. You can also change the wood, and you can change anything in the objects that you have chosen. So after that I'm done, I'm just going to add a little storage area, a little wardrobe. I'm going to go back to library, objects, home, bedroom, and just choose a library from choose a wardrobe. Now here I'm going to zoom in. I want to show you the level of details. So this is an actual phone. And also you can see the reflections of the glass. It's really cool. Now I'm going to add a lighting fixture. I'm just going to go to Home, Living Room, Lamps, and choose one of the lighting fixtures. You can rotate it, move it, until you're pleased with it. Afterwards, I'm going to add a mirror. So I'm just going to look around to make sure everything's okay, and then add a mirror. So now you can type in mirror. Now you will have more options if you type it in, or you can just like simply navigate through the library itself. I'm going to choose one of the mirrors and change the dimensions of it. What you can do, you press on the scale, you can change the height, the width, or simply just make it larger or smaller without changing the actual parameters of the object. And I'm just going to move it around. I want to keep it in the middle. Now, I want to add my lighting to make the room more lively, more relatable, more realistic. So what we're going to do is that we're going to go from library, lights, and choose any lighting of what you want. So I'm going to add an indirect light. I'm going to go with this one and just drop it. You can move it around. And you can, of course, customize it to your own needs. So basically, you can change the intensity. You can change how far the lighting can go. You could also change the temperature of the light. You can make it colder, warmer, and you can change the color of it as well. So after that, you're pleased with the light, you can move on to add another element. So I'm going to add another light to my lighting fixture. You can see from now that it's starting to look more realistic just by adding the lighting. So I'm going to add this one. You can move it around. You can put it in the middle of your object so it could look at as realistic as possible. And of course, as I told you before, we can change the intensity. You can change how far does it go, the cone angle as well, until you're pleased with it. Great. So I'm just going to look around and show you how amazing the light can change the room. Now let's add a little bit of plants. Now, if you want to go to vegetation, vegetation is more for the outdoorsy plants. And from home, living room, plants, you can find the indoorsy ones. So you can simply just type in plant, or you can look from it in the library itself. So I'm just going to add a couple here. You can see how the plant is reflected from the mirror, which is also really cool. And then just to finish up this bedroom, I'm just going to add a little bit of decoration. So let's look around and see what's missing. We can add the decoration or the frame on this wall. So I'm going to go to living room, decorations, and that's it. Within a few minutes, you have yourself a very realistic room, a very homey bedroom, and you're good to go. It literally took just 5 minutes from us, and we have this beautiful bedroom over here. Of course, the more elements, the more details you put into your model, the more realistic it will look. So let's move on. Now, lastly, I want to talk about the output. So what are the scenes? How can we render? How can we change the weather, the time of the day, the background? And when we're done, I'm going to show you a walkthrough of the whole project, the whole model, so you can see the level of detailing and how realistic does it look. So here we can see that I have a perspective of the pool. Now, Twinmotion is more of a camera. You can play with the focal length, you can play with the perspective, you can orbit around, look around. So you can choose whatever perspective or whatever view you like. Now, what I'm going to do now, can you start? I'm just going to move a little bit until I like the view of it. And I'm going to go to media. Now, how do you render? You go to media and you take a shot. Now, here I have shots that have been taken before. They're considered as views, as saved views, just as in Revit. And you can change it around from the right. So basically, you can change the weather. Now, this is a sunny weather. I'm going to make it a little bit rainy. You can see how cool it is because even the ground is wet. Everything is changing with the weather itself. And now I'm going to change the season. So now it's summery. Now it's autumn. You can see how the leaves are changing as well, the vegetation. Everything is subjected to the season. Back to summer, back to sunny. Now you can change more than this, these functions. Now there's an HDRI environment. What does that mean? It's basically you play with the whole shadowing. You can go choose whatever you want. I'm going to choose an approaching storm. You can see how the shadows change, how the lighting changed. Or you can just simply choose low sun, morning, afternoon, cloudy, clear, overcast. You can navigate through and choose your favorite. Now, look how the shadows changed. Because I have an HDRI environment, that doesn't allow me to change the time of the day, but you can simply just turn it off, and now you can change the time of the day. There is also a cool feature, which is the ocean. If your project was nearby an ocean, you can simply just click on that, and you have yourself an ocean for yourself. You can change the sun intensity, the sun size, the sun reflection as well. And that's not everything. You can change much more than that. You can go to camera. You can change the exposure as well. Now, let's go to camera. What is camera? As I told you before, Twinmotion is more of a camera. So you can change the focal length, like 16 millimeters, 20 millimeters, whatever suits you best. You can go to render. From render, you can choose the intensity of the shadows. If you want to make it lighter, darker, more intense, less intense, you can see the difference right here. You can color grade it, the saturation, the contrast, and finally, you can choose how you want to extract this image, the format of it, and the size, of course. So that's basically it of how we can render and the scenes. As simple as that. It's what's very nice about Twinmotion, that it's very user-friendly, it's very direct, it's very easy to use as well. Now, lastly, I want to show you the walkthrough. Through the walkthrough, you're going to see all of the elements. I'm going to change the times of the day. I'm going to change the weather as well. You can see how you can position your camera in certain positions, make your own perspectives, make your own video, and add your own elements. So let's start the video. You can see how we're moving around. I believe it's a little bit lagging because of the internet, but once you save it to your computer, none of that will happen. So we can move around. Let's see the exterior of the house, the interior. You can see all of these elements on the street, the sidewalk, the little dash lines, the signs, the vegetation, the cars, the people moving, here the lighting. And let's see also the interior of the house as well, the level of detailing that was put into Twinmotion. So here we're entering the house. We have our animated people, we have our kitchen. Now, all of these objects have been used from Twinmotion. I have changed the color of them, the materials, but we can see how wide the library is. You can look at the books as well. You can also see the papers in the books. That's how detailed it is. So let's enter one of the rooms. You can see the reflections from the mirror. Look how the lighting is changing as well. The bathroom. Let's go upstairs. So upstairs, we have another living area. If you look at the shelves, we can see there's a lot of these small elements, small decorations. And here we have our lounging area. You can see the reflections as well. Let's go outside and look from the balcony. Now, beneath is the pool area. We can see the vegetation, even the fruits on the trees as well. You can see the fire. Now let's go outside so we can see all of these elements again. The fire, the pool, you can see the reflections from the pool, the water material. We can see also the lighting inside of the pool as well, the fire. Now here I'm zooming in to the plants so you can see how the plants are moving with the air. That's how realistic it is. It's really cool. So let's zoom out and just like look at it one last time from afar. And let's try to change the weather, the time of the day, and see how does the model interact with all of these options. So now it changed from autumn to winter. It's snowing, then it's raining, and back to summer. And that's how you change the time of the day. You can see how the shadows are interacting with the sun. You can see that your lighting is more clear right now. Let's move around. The lighting in the pool, inside of the house, the lounge area, the kitchen, the reception area as well. You can also see the lights from the cars themselves as well. Let's walk a little bit through the street. You can see also the stars in the sky, which is cool as well. Now let's go back to the morning. You can see the sunset, the sunrise. And that's it. So that was our walkthrough for today. You can see how the shadows are interacting. And yeah, that was it. Can you move next? So with that, we have finalized our technical introduction, and so on. Now it's time for your questions. And I hope that we can answer all of your questions. You can simply just type it in. You have your Q&A box. Or you can simply just raise your hand. So as I'm reading all the questions, they're really exciting. Excited to be here. Looking forward for this insightful webinar. Thank you all. So we have a question. Hi, how can we apply to Accienta as job applicant? You can send us an email. You have our email. And we'll be happy to talk to you there. So if you don't have any questions, we can move to the quiz. And since you didn't ask any question, I believe that we're going to answer all the quiz correctly. Now let's move to the quiz. For the quiz, you can simply just type in your answer or just raise your hand. Now, for question number 1, which of the following statements is true about the pricing of Twinmotion for Revit users? A, Twinmotion is free for Revit users and AEC users. B, Twinmotion is a separate paid software. C, Twinmotion is only available as a subscription service. D, Twinmotion pricing varies depending on the Revit version used. So you can raise your hand or just simply type in the answer in the Q&A box. So we have 2 answers. One of the answers is B, and the other answer is D. And I'm sorry to tell you that none is correct. The correct answer is A. Twinmotion is free for Revit and AEC users. Next. Now, what is the primary benefit of using Twinmotion in conjunction with Revit? A. Improved rendering and video output capabilities. B. Enhanced collaboration tools. C. Advanced structural analysis. D. None of the above. So let's see all of your answers. One of the answers is A. The other is A. I believe you all answered correctly. The answer is truly A. Let's move to the next question. True or false? Twinmotion allows you to easily create and explore interactive 3D environments based on Revit models. So let's see your answers. True. You have answered true, and it is true. Great. On to the next question. Which Revit elements can be synchronized with Twinmotion for visualization purposes? A, walls and floors. B, mechanical systems. C, plumbing fixtures. D, all of the above. Let's see your answers. D, all of the above, and it's correct. It's all of the above. Anything in Revit is automatically changed and delivered to Twinmotion. And of course, you can change that from options in Revit. Next, please. What is the primary advantage of using Twinmotion for client presentations of Revit models? A, enhanced project scheduling. B, real-time interactivity and immersion. C, advanced structural analysis. D, detailed cost and estimation tools. So let's see your answers. You have answered B, and it's correct. I'm really proud of you guys. Now, I believe this is our last question. How can Twinmotion help streamline the design review process in collaboration with Revit? A, by providing advanced BIM modeling tools. B, by offering cloud-based collaboration. C, by allowing for quick design iterations and visual feedback. D, none of the above. What do you think? So we have a C, we have two C's, and it's correct. By allowing for quick design iterations and visual feedback. I believe that was the last question. And we are done. Thank you so much for everyone who watched us today. Thank you. And please contact us at info@axianta.com, or you can simply just visit our website, www.axianta.com, and you can ask any question over there. Don't forget, we're Autodesk Golden Partners and also Smartsheet. So you can ask us any question regarding Autodesk, Twinmotion, and Smartsheet. Thank you again for today, and it was lovely and a pleasure having you all here. Thank you. Have a great day.